said in my 2025 video that I need to fix some felted mittens by felting something, so I would prefer to felt one of my scraps that I have no use for. So this looked pretty woolly to me, so I was like, how do I tell if it's wool? I'd heard about burning it, so I just googled how to tell if something is wool. And they said I could do a bleach test, so I put a little strand of this in bleach. It didn't look like it was doing anything, and I just walked away for like 10 minutes, but I came back and it's wool. It's like a gender reveal, but instead of that, it's like a yarn reveal. It's like, is it wool? Is it wool? Oh, it's wool. It's wool. So there was fiber in there. I think this is 100% wool, which would be incredible if it was, because then I can just knit this entire thing up and felt it, and then here. We will dissolve that for you so you can see. Woohoo! As you can see, whoop, the bleach is in the process of eating the wool. You can see it bubbling. And the part that is sticking above the bleach isn't being eaten yet, but yeah, it's very bubbly. 100% wool, I think. Alright, this is most of the wool, the actual swatch I've made, so I'm gonna put it in the washing machine and turn the heat up all the way and the spin up almost all the way, which is what I did yesterday. And we're gonna felt this baby. These are perfect. Hello, I am going to be showing my in-progress scrap fingering weight gloves. This is the right one. So basically, I just took a bunch of sock leftovers. This blue one might not be sock yarn. It's a mystery skein of yarn. I got it in a pack in 2020. These little ones. They came from my local yarn store. We were knitting shawls together during COVID. A lot of the colors are inspired by this. This is, thinking of it as my birthday yarn, because my birthday's in February. And so I'm going to be knitting with this. I started in January, just like with a couple grams of it. But I kind of used the pink that was in here and the lighter colors and even the greens to help me like pick out which of my other scraps I'm involving in this. These are so far only 36 grams total. I haven't done the fingers yet, obviously. I do need this to have fingers. I'm a professional piano player, so fingerless gloves are not very useful to me. If anything, even if I'm not wearing a coat or not wearing a hat or not wearing like anything else, I will, when I'm going to university, sorry, my neighbor has like a little dog out on her porch. That's what I'm looking at. If I'm going to my university students class, like I will fully have like entire gloves on my hands just to keep my fingers a little warm before I perform. I do a lot of like driving in Wisconsin back and forth to all these gigs, and so I like to keep my hands warm. So these are gonna have separate fingers so that I can also do things with my hands. I suppose I could make fingerless gloves for like practice or warm-ups or something, but I find it doesn't make that much of a difference. Like I don't worry about my playing too much. It's just that like during my travel time, I would really like some light wool gloves. So because I don't want them to have a lot of holes, I want them to be pretty dense and not let the wind through. I have picked my size 1 needles. These are my 2 sock needles and I knit them 2 at a time because I'm not using a pattern, and I thought it would be good to make sure that they were the same. So basically what happened was I had forgotten my gloves, or they were at the bottom of my purse. I couldn't find them. One day in December that got really cold and I had a sock. I think it was my friend Laura's sock, I had like a sock where I had brought a finished one along with me, and then I had my in progress one because I was working on like the gusset or something like that. And so as I was driving in the cold, I had like a finished fingering weight sock. I just put it on like one of my hands and I was taking turns with it, and I was like, wait, this fits really great. It feels amazing. I need to make sock weight gloves for myself, apparently. So just kind of comparing it to socks, I think I could have made this even tighter. I wanted them really tight, but I ended up doing 60 stitches and doing a rib. The color transition is in the middle here, so that on the outside you can't see like where the line is, but it's really wavy where I switched the colors at the moment. I suppose I could block them to fix that. And I started by splitting my colors in like exactly in half, but then I decided to do them randomly, so it hasn't mattered. I cast on with the tiniest scrap of sparkle yarn, and then I have finished right before the fingers with the same scrap of sparkle yarn. So there's like 1.5 rows, and then the cast on row of sparkle that kind of border the hand section and the finger section of the glove. And I'm about to do the fingers. So I started with a rib, then I added about 24 apparently stitches for the thumb, except I decided to do a row back and forth before I added stitches here, and that was a big mistake. I wish I just knit right away. I thought I needed more space to get up the hand, so I made the thumb gusset just like way too wide. So what I'm gonna do is just like graft about 6 of those stitches to here, as if I had just picked it up originally like I should have, and then I'm gonna make the thumb out of that. I did make these like a left and right handed one, so the thumbs are more towards the inside, and so that is why I knit them 2 at a time. So I would knit until this was like about 3 inches long and make sure like the lengths were exactly the same, and then as I was adding stitches, I just paid attention to like where in relation to the end round I was adding stitches, and then I did the mirrored version on the other side. So yeah, so I've got like separate yarns and separate needles and separate gloves the entire time. I'm not really having to share skeins at all, and that is what I did to make sure that they were the same. And if like one row is different, you would never be able to tell because they have stretch in them and it's such a small gauge. So I've gotten to the point where I'm going to, my cat's playing again, what can I say? I'm going to do the fingers. So just because I was going to start with the pinky, but I ran out of this sparkle scrap on the inside of one of these gloves, actually kind of on both of them. So I don't have Rosie, she's playing. I don't have any sparkle yarn left, and I'm on the inside of the gloves. So I have decreased on each side from the 60 stitches I started with down to 56, and I think I'm gonna do 16 stitches for the first finger, and I'm also gonna do like crossovers where I switch one stitch from the back to the front. I can show you what my plan is for that, so that it's like tight enough between my fingers. And then I'm probably gonna have to do more decreases because I just have a little bit too many stitches, and I really want these to be pretty like tight fitting. So I might, maybe I'll like graft one stitch together between each of these. There's gonna be a lot of like little sewing pieces and a lot of ends that are inside of the base of my fingers. I hope that's not too annoying, but I'm hoping that the fingers are not too painful. The rib, I just kind of transitioned from rib into stockinette in a random slow way where I just started knitting more of the stitches on different rounds, and they are not the same in that regard. So I'm really pleased with the colors. I think they're gorgeous, and my plan is to make a brioche headband because I like to wear my hair up in clips a lot. And I have a really large forehead and my hairline's pretty far back, so I have a lot of space here to cover, and I would like to be able to wear a headband and have my hair up in a clip in the early and later parts of winter where it's not so cold that I have to put an entire hat on top of my head. Yeah, so I'm gonna make like a matching brioche headband, I think with this as the main color. But I think I'm gonna hold it double so that it's like a DK weight brioche headband. I'm hoping that won't take me very long. So yeah, that has been my winter glove project. They're really beautiful and I'm excited that I might get close to finishing them this weekend. I have to finish them really soon because I need my sock needles back to make more socks. So it is the next morning. Last night I did some grafting. So I grafted 6 stitches together here. I did a really good job on this second one. It looks pretty good. I did a less good job on my first one there, but it's still decent. And then I did both of the pointer fingers yesterday. So it's going pretty well. They're like a little bit tight right here, but I think that's fine. I think once I pick up stitches from there and they pull towards the next finger, it will be less pushy on this finger. I can't even show you. So basically, the last stitch from here is knit onto that side. So I just left one off and knit one from here over there and then one from here there, so that there's this twist to help fill in the gap a little bit. And then I had 56 stitches to start with. I used 16 of them here on this finger. And when I got up to here, I decreased 2 and then 2 more. So then I ended up with 12. And unfortunately, my Kitchener just sucks, and I think it looks terrible when you sew like the small point of something with Kitchener. So I had to take this entire thing inside out. In order to do that, I had to take the needles out, and then I did my Finchley graft because my Finchley graft actually looks good. So yes, I'm going to be turning every single one of these tiny little fingers inside out. And I can't do that with needles because the glove is too skinny for the needles. And I don't think I can fit the entire glove through like the 12 stitches I'll have at the end of a ring finger, for example, because you'd have to pull a lot of the glove through it. So instead of doing that, I am just gonna have to take the needles out and then put the needles back in, which is not easy. It's going pretty well. So my plan is, there's 40 stitches left. I'm gonna take like 14 of them for this finger, but pick up like 3 in the middle, I think. Like I need to pick up to cover the gap between the fingers. And then I'm probably gonna use a similar number for this finger. I've broken this finger, you can tell, like I broke it into this knuckle 4 years ago, and so this finger has a lot of swelling, and it's where I wear my ring, so I'm gonna need to like do some increases for that, I'm pretty sure. So far my ends are woven in, and I got the thumbs ready. I got the little grafting by the thumbs done, and these fingers are done, and everything is woven, and it's good to go. So I'm really hoping I can make a big dent in this tonight, and then I expect these to be done this weekend. Yay! Alright, so this is my tessellated pullover, which is currently in t-shirt form. At least the sleeves don't start until here, so that's hopefully not going to take me as long. I am really hoping this blocks out a little bit. It says it will block out, so I'm hoping that it will get longer, because right now it's just incredibly cropped. I didn't want to do a sewn bind off for the collar. So I literally just did a standard bind off. I think there's nothing wrong with it, honestly. I did actually like properly sew in all the ends, and I sewed under the armholes. And it is time to block this so that I can see how much it grows, which will help me plan how long I want to make the sleeves. So I'm going to be blocking this baby. It does really look very beautiful. I like the colors a lot. Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Hello, welcome back to Marissa Knits. Welcome to all of my new people. I still have new subscribers here trickling in from my everything I made in 2024 and organizing the 2025 video. Unfortunately, I bought a lot of yarn from strangers on Reddit in January, so the organizing video I made is not even relevant anymore. I have like 8 more sock yarn skeins to show today, unfortunately, so I have unfollowed the yarn swap Reddit. I'm still subscribed so that it's easy to find in case I ever just want to look at people's stashes, but I have like muted it so that it doesn't like pop up on my home screen anymore, because this is enough yarn for the year. I kind of collected sock yarn for all the sock plans I have, and then some extra stuff that like I don't know what I'm gonna do with. So I'm gonna be showing you that. First of all, this is the start of my Advent project. It still needs sleeves, but I blocked it so that I would have an idea of the fit and everything. I'm pretty happy with it. It could have been longer, but I think it's fine that it's like more fitted and shorter than maybe I often tend to wear, like baggier sweaters, but this is gonna be good. I have orange pants and olive green pants, and then like a variety of different dress pant colors, and this looks good with everything. I feel like the colors look really good with my coloring. I have pretty neutral coloring, I think. If I'm warm or cool tone and I don't know it, please tell me. But I think it looks nice with my hair and my skin coloring and everything. So this is the Strata sweater. I just, it's by Hannah Singleton, and I think I followed even like the neckline and everything pretty much to pattern. I'm making a size small, size 2. I'm not sure how it's notated in the pattern. I think it's written as a size small. So I have all these yarn scraps left to pick up for the sleeves. The reason I haven't started the sleeves yet is this is a lighter weight fabric. It's sock yarn, sock fingering weight yarn. And so I didn't think I would wear it a lot in the winter because I would still be cold and have to put another layer over it. And for some reason the colors are just screaming like March to me. So I'm thinking this would be fun to finish. Yeah, I have a lot in February that I'm doing that I'm surrounded by here that's more winter themed, and so I'm planning to get the sleeves done in March and hopefully be able to wear this in March. The other reason I'm hesitating on the sleeves is this and my tessellated pullover are both knit with a size 4, and I don't have like that many size 4 needles, and I don't have any size 4 double points. So I really need to go buy some size 4 double points. And then also I'm gonna do sleeves where the stripes line up with like horizontally with the stripes on the body. So that means you have to do the shaping here very carefully, and like I might even have to get it wet somewhere around here to make sure that the cap and the outside of the stripes needs to line up with this. So the armhole won't line up, but the outside of the stripe will line up when I'm doing like short rows. My Pete sweater was written that way that I made last fall, and I'm obsessed with how, like, you wouldn't know it unless you're a knitter, but the stripes are like exactly across from the chest to the arm. The colors line up on that sweater, and I really want to make sure I replicate that, and I'm probably going to do the sleeves 2 at a time, so I'm not stressed about running out of yarn or making sure I do exactly the same thing on the short rows. For most things like this, I do sleeves 2 at a time when I want them to be exactly the same and very regular and organized. So I need my needles back for that, but I did block this and it is absolutely beautiful. This is a Goosey Fibers Advent. It's the one that came out this year, so it's the 2024 Advent. It's called Now We Are Six, and all the colors are named after poems in A. Milne, who's the author of Winnie the Pooh, his final collection of children's poems kind of set in the Winnie the Pooh universe. They're based on his, like, young son's life, so they're, like, inspired by reality. So it's the last, like, Christopher Robin poem collection. I was reading some of them in December in my videos, but I really fell off that wagon real hard. So this is gorgeous. I did like a giant chunk, I guess I should show the back also. I did a huge chunk of brown on here, so the brown is almost out. So I'm gonna have to just use a little bit of brown on the sleeve cap and then maybe extra of this greenish brown variegated color. And then when I'm to here, I just want to make sure that the colors on the outside are matching up with these stripes. So I will be filming that in March, I guess. We'll see how that goes for me. Next, we're gonna talk about this baby blanket I'm making because it's not very interesting. So this is like 300-gram cake of Lion brand mandala yarn. I wish I just bought 2 of the smaller cakes because then the stripes would be shorter and repeat more frequently, and it would be more interesting and more motivating to finish a stripe. But these stripes are taking forever. Like, I didn't want to knit 7 inches of dark teal and then never have teal come back again. That wasn't the experience I was going for. So I'm almost like 40% of the way done. I'm past the 30% mark. I have 185 grams left. So I think once I get past the halfway point, I'll be good. But this baby's due mid-March, and it might not be done. And I normally meet deadlines like that, and so I'm hoping the baby doesn't come super early. That would not be good because everybody is sick right now. Not in my family specifically, but just a lot of every school and like groups of people in the United States. Like there's a ton of different like viral things going around. So it would be good if that baby boy could cook all the way up until his due date so that maybe this will be done. This is the Lee blanket pattern. I made it before, and unfortunately when I was like up to here, I was already really bored. So it's getting a little more fun now because I just know I have to just get through it, but maybe I should have picked a different pattern that I haven't knit before. I don't know. So I'll update you on that. Hopefully it'll be nearly done next time I film. I blocked my tessellated pullover, and it did get a little looser like I was hoping for. Yeah, it's still pretty cropped, but I think for most people, Andrea Mowry's patterns are really cropped. I've never knit one of her patterns before. And then I finished an entire sleeve. I'm gonna have a lot of leftovers from this, and I have some plans for the leftover boucle. So I finished the sleeve yesterday so that I would have less balls attached to it, and I could work on incorporating the boucle into a headband that I'm making for myself. So this is the first sleeve. I think the pattern says to make the sleeve longer, but like mosaics just takes forever, and I don't want to do more of it. So I made it as short as I could get away with, and then I'm going to make the ribbing hopefully pretty long. Maybe the ribbing should be as long as this bottom ribbing. I think that would look nice. So I will probably do that much ribbing. I did actually do a, what is it called? What is this cast on called? Tubular cast on? I did actually do a tubular cast on. I didn't do a tubular bind off up here though because my tubular bind off just looks terrible. And I ended up putting some elastic in the top of it. You can't tell because I'm layering my works in progress right now, but I did some elastic on it because it was just too loose at the top. I did a standard bind off for the ribbing. For some reason that was too loose, even though I think they wanted me to do an even looser one. I don't know. But I've got it so that you can kind of see my collarbone, and I think that's pretty flattering. The colorful yarn that's incorporated into this is Goosey Fibers Pleiades. I absolutely love it. I think I figured out what I'm going to do with the leftovers. I just accidentally bought 2 balls of Knit Picks Alpaca Boucle last year, so this is still 70 grams of this left, and I'm going to be using like 18 of them in the next sleeve. So I'm going to have to use the rest of it up in a hat. I'm thinking like a double-sided hat. And I might even use some of the remainder of this, because this, even though it says it's fingering weight, it knits up really thick for a fingering weight. Like the floofs are just so floofy and they take up a lot of space. So this is a sport weight, and this is by Wonderland Yarns. It's the color Frost. And I'm thinking I might make my mother-in-law a double-sided hat with these leftovers. So one side will be fluffy, and then the other side will be this light blue. I have almost this exact same shade of light blue alpaca that I made her mittens with. And my husband's really wanted to get her like a giant fluffy like fur, like Russian looking hat for some reason for a long time. And it's hard to find them right now. Like there's not like big fluffy hats are not in style. Everyone I've talked to who has one, it's like vintage. They're like, oh, this was my grandma's. So I'm like, that's not helpful. So this is pretty fluffy. So I think that's the vibe that he's been wanting to get for a hat for his mom for a long time. So that is what I've decided these leftovers are going to be for. I did cast this on at midnight on January 1st. And it is February 8th now. I'm not even done with the first sleeve. And I took this to like a musical production I was in. Like I dedicated a lot of time to this. It's just that mosaic is so freaking slow. And I don't think I will be knitting full mosaic garments like this anytime soon. I might even rather do cables. This was good for using up a lot of yarn that I didn't really have a plan for, although I did have to purchase 3 of these. It's beautiful. It's really gorgeous. I'm glad that I have something fluffier and more winter themed in my wardrobe. Oh, I'm getting like a text from my cousins, like I think it's a wedding shower. I'm getting invited to a bridal shower. I'm pretty sure is what that was. Anyway, I don't think I'll be making a mosaic sweater, at least not this dense of one, anytime soon. Do we mind if I just wear all my whips at the same time? I think that would be funny. I'm not going to drape that half-finished baby blanket over me, though. Alright. As I explained already, I had decided to make myself some winter... Oh no. I'm almost putting the end of this into my coffee. That would be bad. To make myself some winter gloves. And I did finish them. They don't really keep out wind because even though it's knit on like a size 1 or size 0, I think size 0. I actually don't know if the sock needles I use are a size 1 or a size 0, so that's concerning. But they're done, and I think they look beautiful. They're really, really, really nice. They're a bit loose still in the hand, and especially like in the top of the hand, and even here. I guess I should have known when I was ribbing the whole time that they would be stretchy, and I wanted them to be tighter. So I probably should have done less stitches, but I've been wearing them this week, and I'm finally getting like used to the texture of them. I haven't had like wool between all of my fingers, probably ever, not like this. I haven't had wool gloves before. So I've had to like adjust to how it feels. My gloves are like fake leather normally, the other ones I have. So I'm happy with these. I think they look basically exactly how I was imagining, and they feel pretty good, and they're good for driving. The tips of my fingers do get cold, but I was planning on layering them with mittens anyway. So this is like basically the first thing I finished this year, and it wasn't until February. There's one other like donation project I kind of have that I'll show you that I did finish earlier, I think. But I decided that I was going to make a matching headband for these, and I didn't have any reference for how much yarn that was going to take. So all these colors match, and I kind of inspired them from this cake of yarn that I got on Reddit. Oh, this is attached to something, that's why I can't show it entirely. It's so beautiful. It is Tippy Tree yarns, the February 2021 birthday collection. I don't know if there was like birthday yarn. I don't really know the story behind that. I would have to look it up and see if I can find an old Instagram post explaining it because it's 4 years old now. But it is absolutely glorious. So I started knitting with it in January, a little bit on these gloves, and then make a matching headband with it, and then socks. So in the process of deciding how I was gonna incorporate this into a headband and still have some yarn left for a longer pair of cabled socks, I want the socks to be special. So I'm gonna make them like a bit taller than usual so I can really see them over my boots, and I think I'm gonna incorporate some cabling, but hopefully a faster cable pattern and not something that's super intricate and takes a lot of time. So I knew I wanted to make a headband with this. And after this is where my thought process and the order of events in this like headband related projects gets very convoluted. I kind of have a stack of stuff here in order to explain. So I decided I wanted to do brioche with this. I don't know where I got the idea. I thought, well, I guess there's a headband that I made to donate like 2 Decembers ago now that was in like a fisherman's rib, I think. It was like it's the one that's like a half brioche where you don't yarn over the whole time, if that makes sense. And I liked the fit and the design of that, and it worked out pretty quickly. So I was like, I decided to do a 2-color brioche so that I would use less of this yarn since I don't want to run out of it. And I decided at some point I knew it would be faster if I held it double. This is also attached to something. So for the headband, I'm holding it double with this blue that's a very similar color and has the same like purplish reddish flecks in it. This is just the tiniest scrap that I got from a shawl set from my local yarn store, and I don't have the label anymore. So for the main brioche color, I'm holding those two together. And this is sort of unrelated, but I ordered this sparkle yarn from Forbidden Fiber Co. in the color Love Story. I got this to make my friend a hat. She has like a teal coat and then like a greenish coat. So it would be for next winter. I'm gonna make her a sparkle hat. The sparkle hat I made for my cousin recently, I was like, Emma needs one of these too. I was hoping to get something really, really, really bright, but it's hard to find sparkly, like shimmery yarn that's in like bright, loud colors that would match her coat. So I sent her a couple options, and she picked this one. And so since this is really, really variegated, I wouldn't normally do this. But when there was multiple skeins, like on the website, you could see how many were in stock. And so when I was ordering it, I wrote a little note into Forbidden Fiber Co. and I was like, if you have like multiple ones, like to choose from here, my friend loves bright colors. So whichever one is like the brightest, like the most like fluorescent or like neon-y, that would be good. Like we prefer if you have like multiple options. I figured it wasn't too much work. Like if there's 4 or 5 of these on the shelf and one of them looks brighter, like just grab the brighter one, you know? That was basically what I was asking. I don't know if she always does this or if she misunderstood my question, but she sent me as well an unlabeled 40-gram like bright fuchsia colored like sample, like an extra little skein. I don't know if she does that for all new customers or if she thought I was asking for extra yarn, which I wasn't at all. I was just like specifying like this is really variegated, so whatever one has most neon in it, we love it. We love the bright. You know what I mean? I think you know what I mean. Anyway, she also sent me, I'm saying she because I'm pretty sure the dyer is a woman. Follow her on Instagram now, and the colors are really gorgeous, so I probably will order from her again. And thank you very much, Forbidden Fire Co. Dyer, for this pink yarn. So she sent me 40 grams of this pink yarn, and I was like, oh no, like what the heck am I gonna do with this? And it turned out really well in the end because I had this leftover sock yarn that I've been stressing about what the heck to do with it for more than a year now, because I made the same cousin with the sparkle hat. These are her socks. So it's all kind of the same couple people who I made these brightly colored things for. It's this teal-ish, pretty vibrant teal yarn from Wonderland. I think the color is called Getting Your Kite in the Air. I've looked at the label 10,000 times as I was trying to figure out what the heck to do with my like 30 grams of leftovers. And it has these like pink sections in it that are pretty long and they're not flecks. And so it just kind of shows up randomly. And this color just doesn't match my other sock scraps. Like, it just doesn't 100% go with my other sock scraps in a way that makes sense to me. So it's been hard for me to figure out what to do with this, and I didn't even include it in my stash update because I was planning on donating it. And so it just kind of came to me that the two colors looked really good together. And so I made this brioche headband so that I'm going to try it on for you. I made this to donate basically as a test to see how much yarn, like how many grams of yarn a brioche headband uses. And this is only 20 grams total. So like 10 grams for each color. And what was really fun about this yarn that I didn't want and was going to get rid of is the stripes. They just happened to show up in this way. It's a total coincidence. I wasn't planning on anyone even wanting to wear it with the side up. That was just my contrast color, and I thought it would be nice that the flecks in it match the pink. But my local yarn store collects donations, and they send them to more urban parts of the country to be given to LGBT teenagers, a lot of whom I'm pretty sure are like housing insecure or are having like a lot of challenges. And so the owner says a lot of them do really like bright colors and are of course like really proud of their identities and everything. And so I was like, this would be great, like this would be nice and bright and happy for some random child. They might really like it. And then after I was knitting it for a while, I realized like, wait, like these are the colors of the trans flag. I looked it up because I'm not up to speed on like which colors are which flag, to be honest. But these colors, like a lighter pink actually, and the light blue. The pink's a bit too bright, but they are like a little bit LGBTQ flag inspired, specifically the trans flag, as far as I know. If you're in the community and you know more than me, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But that was a nice little coincidence that I didn't plan. And it's just a cute headband, even if someone's not picking it out for that reason. But I had so much leftovers from that I also made a matching hat. I haven't woven in the ends yet. The hat, I made it a little too wide, and my cast off is way too tight. So it fits me okay, but I don't know if a younger person, it's tight on the cast off, so that might be annoying to some people. Or if they have like a slightly bigger head or fluffy hair or something, it won't fit, and so I have to undo this bind off and redo it. So I didn't use a pattern for this. I just did like a magic loop cast on with 4 stitches, then doubled them right away, and then I did increases in sort of a random shape, but in sections of 4. So there's like one knit line there's 4 knit lines, so there's like a single knit line with no increases that divides this into 4 sections. You just can't really see when it's like not stretched out. So basically I made these 2 donations. This is what I have left of the sock scrap, so that'll just be for like waste yarn. And I did end up running out of the pink finally also, so that's exciting. I just have to redo the cast on. I have a little bit of pink left, definitely enough for the cast off. It'll be fine. So that was just my experiment to get some yarn out of stash and finish something for once, so that I could be proud that I'm not just accumulating yarn and not getting anywhere. And then also it did help me figure out that I'm going to be okay to start this headband project. So I was just basically making a swatch to see, this is the pink from my Advent colors. There's 3 colors from this Advent that were like brighter pink that I withheld from that project. And so one of those bright pinks I'm using as a contrast color back here. And then I've got this mini skein from another set I bought on Reddit that I'll show soon. And so I was holding that with it, but I had wanted to include the boucle, but I wasn't sure about including boucle the entire time. I was undecided on if I was going to have the boucle as the background color because I thought it might kind of overpower and make it hard to see the blue. And the blue is like the whole point of the project, so I really wanted the blue to be the focus. And so first I knit with the these two as the contrast color for a while, and then I was like, I'll just keep swatching. So this was supposed to be a swatch, but I ended up liking the striped look. Like I started doing some boucle on my swatch and then set it down, and the next day I went and looked at it, I was like, wait, I think it would be fun if it was striped. So I am striping now, 3 different colors. The pink is the whole time. One of the pinks is being held the whole time. So then I have this like brownish, purplish color in there for some dimension, something darker. So I have that brown, and then I've got the boucle in there for some fluff and something lighter. And then I have like a second pink. So I'm like holding 2 of the pinks together some of the time. And then both of the blues are the main color the entire time. So it's just one of the background colors that's transitioning to make these stripes. I think it's about 1/4 of the way done. There's a way, I can link the blog for it, and I'll be showing this when it's done very soon. There's a way you like fold the 2 ends together and sew them so that they make a nice little like knot at the top. I will be weighing my blue yarns near the halfway mark to make sure I have enough. But if I'm running low on that blue contrast color, I'll do like a different one at the back of the head where it'll be like under my hair clip or whatever, and you won't like really notice, hopefully. The one thing I've struggled with is this brioche is how to make the edges nice, because one of them looks like that, which doesn't look good. So this is my brioche edge that's pretty and looks the way I would want it to look, just with like a knit stitch on the side there. So that is the side that I'm going to wear at the front so that the knit stitch like frames my face. I'm hoping to finish this weekend actually. The holding the yarn double is going a lot faster than my single headband. Yeah, maybe I'm like 1/3 of the way done actually, because this just has so much stretch in it. This felt like it was taking me forever because I thought it would be like a 1-day project, and it certainly wasn't. It was like a 5-day project, and I brought it to work a lot. I had it at a lot of different rehearsals. So, it's going pretty well. I only started this like 2 days ago, and it's working up very fast, holding it double. So that's good. I've decided that these 2 colors that I knit a couple grams with for these gloves, so to get back to the glove project, I guess. These 2 colors, I'm going to make my mom some socks for her birthday. I have a pattern. It's by a French-Canadian designer. I have like a whole set of like 12 of their patterns I bought together. One of them has like a pretty tall brioche cuff that I'm going to do with this. And so this is a bit less than 50 grams right now, which normally isn't enough for me to make a pair of women's socks, even like a smaller size. And so I'm going to use up a lot of this on a really tall cuff and heel, and then probably the toe as well. So I'm going to be combining these 2 colors to make my mom some socks. I think for her birthday in April. That's my plan anyway. The grams are pretty friendly to what that plan is, so I think that's basically set in stone. I don't know what I'm going to do with all these other like pink and purple scraps, because the ones I'm incorporating into the headband, it's not going to use very many grams. And yeah, so out of all of these like sweater leftovers and glove leftovers that are on this side of the table here, I think I know what's going on with all of them, and this is going to be a sparkle hat. All right, so let's move on to, this is the sock section, so if you don't care about socks, we'll see you next time when my sweaters are done. The first sock I made in 2025 is actually my first test knit, and these are the Beverly socks. They're designed by the yarn, it's a yarn dyer that also designs these socks, and her username, like on Instagram, is Maps Yarn. If you Google Maps Yarn, you can find her, and I'm sure she has a link to the patterns as well. So this is my first test knit. It is a textured sock. It has this nice, like, elongated stitch pattern and a mix of knit and pearls. This sock I made for my husband. This is sock yarn from Britain. It's BFL, and the nylon that we got on our vacation to London in September. And so I'm making him these socks. The sizes on the pattern actually were just like women's sock sizes mostly. And so I just did an extra chart repeat to get from 60 to 80 stitches, if that makes sense. It was really easy just to add another chart repeat and another set of stitches at the back. And I made him an 80 stitch sock. To me, this looks giant, but it fits him really well. What I recommend about this sock pattern, I think it's coming out later this month. It is a really good, like, introductory pattern to knitting a sock with a pattern on the front. The pattern doesn't take you that much longer. It's not like a cable or like some slip stitch sock patterns. You'll have to do more rounds because you're slipping stitches and it's slower. So this pattern is basically nearly as fast as if you just knit a plain sock. And a lot of socks don't look good with speckled or variegated yarn. A lot of like sock designs don't necessarily look good with that. They're meant more for solids. But I think this design is really nice for multicolored yarn because you can see like different flecks of colors on the elongated stitches. So it's just a very nice pattern. And I do also have to make some in like a real size. And I need to get these up on Ravelry and Instagram, I think by February 12th. I'm pretty sure the deadline is. So when I decided to knit one that like wasn't even in the size in the pattern, I had also told myself I needed to make one in the correct size since like I'm a tester and I'm supposed to be helping. So I just made one of these to start. So I made this in January, and then I used my sock circulars to make these gloves, if that makes sense. Like I didn't have needles to make the second one, and I didn't really have time to make the second one yet. So the deadline was just to have one sock done by February 12th. So this is the actual sock I'm going to be making, I guess, this week. Maybe I should try to turn the heel this weekend so that I know where I'm at. This is the 64 stitch sock I'm making in like the medium women's size. I'm making this for my aunt. I'm pretty sure her birthday is in March, but I can look that up on Facebook or ask her daughter. Yeah, all my aunts on my dad's side of the family and my cousin on that side of the family, which is 4 women, they are getting socks this year. So I decided to start this one pretty soon. I ended up getting, all of their sock yarn here I got secondhand from other people's stashes on Reddit. That wasn't really my intention. I have one aunt that requested purple, and I need to go to my yarn store and buy that in person because I'm just feeling really picky about the shade of purple. So this is it's an Autumn Equinox sock set, and the contrast color is the one that I am using in my headband, and I'll have no trouble using this up because it's a nice solid color. But I'm just making these socks with no contrast heel, just the entire color. Oh, what I forgot to say about the Beverly pattern is it has a tubular cast on for socks, which I had never done before, but I will admit it looks gorgeous, and it might be worth the effort for me to do it more often. I just thought the browns would be nice for my aunt. It did remind me of her. I think it is a nice, usable, neutral color. And this pattern is really shining through with the super variegated color. Because there's like a spot that's orange, and then that one is white, and then there's more orange, and then that one's brown. It just looks really, really good. So I'm excited to see how this continues to knit up this week. I'm just trying to get this so I can see the dyer for you. It's Ash and Bumble. I have a feeling their Autumn Equinox sock sets are not currently in their store because I don't know. The thing about secondhand yarn is you don't even know when it was dyed. It's probably been in someone's stash for a couple years. So you might not be able to get it, but I do really, really love it, so I might have to check out that dyer. Those are the only socks that I've started this year, and they're on my needles. So yeah, the plan is to make this second one, and then, this second sock of the pattern, but to make this is the first sock, obviously. So make this first sock, and then I'll have 2 first socks. Apparently, I'm starting the year with second sock syndrome. That's not normally a problem I have. Normally, when I finish the toe, I immediately cast on the next one, and I'm off to the races, and I don't have any problem with my second socks, normally. But this year, just because of I've been doing a lot of needle sharing, and the deadlines are feeling really weird, and my birthday's next week, so I'm trying to, knit what I want for my birthday, but I'm also on all these strange deadlines. And yeah, I don't normally have 6 projects going at once. When you have 6 projects that you're trying to knit on every day, everything just goes way slower. So I'm gonna finish those socks and then make myself some socks for my birthday. This yarn, the label says February birthday on it. It needs to be on my needles on my February birthday. We're going out of town, taking a couple days off. I'll tell you where I'm going later when I get back. But I'll film some of it and tell you later. But we are going out of town, and I'm going to have that with me and be making my socks. Anyway, that is why my socks are so disorganized right now. I'm just going to show you, I guess, all the other things I bought. Now, these were from someone who was selling a ton of leftover cakes. Just a whole bunch. And I couldn't make up my mind because there was probably 100 of them. So I knew I wanted this one, and I picked it out for one of my aunts. It's just very neutral colors. It has tans. We're pretty sure all these are sock yarn. Hopefully. It's tan and some denim blues and grays. So it has some mix of warm and cool, and would look really good with jeans or anything you'd wear around the house. So this one I picked up for my aunt, and it is a full ball, actually. It's over 100 grams. I got this 20-gram mini from them. It's a navy blue. It looks almost black, but it is a navy blue. I told my husband, do you want any of these? And he thought this one was cool, so he picked it out. It's literally a Christmas yarn. It's screaming Christmas to me. I know for a fact this is a Christmas sock set. And it has 70 grams left. So I'll be able to make him some plain stockinette socks for next Christmas as long as I use a contrast color. This could be a really good contrast color. This is what happens when I film. I pair more of my yarns together, and then you'll see the results later. So, note to future Marissa, heel color, cuff color. It's right here. I probably will have 16 grams of this left after the headband, so. Whoa! So, we'll put them together, and I'm probably going to work on those not until November for him. This I'm really excited about because it's a tweed. I haven't 100% decided what I'm going to do with it yet. It's probably going to be for me, though. And then this one, I was thinking of giving to one of my cousins, but it's not a lot of grams, so I'm going to pair it with this mini from this other set, and I think just make some plain socks for myself. It's really pretty. It has gray and a light, buttery orange, and some reddish colors and cream. So yeah, none of them have labels, and we don't know for sure that they're sock yarn, but the woman who was selling them on Reddit, she said she thinks they're mostly sock yarn. So this set is also from Tippy Tree Yarn, and I got it on also on Reddit. It says it's from January 2020, so it's officially 5 years old. Never been caked, never been used. It's called It's a Wonderful World, which is so nice. And so I'm going to make my cousin some socks with these, and hopefully I'll incorporate them into some socks for me as well, with the leftovers. It's really pretty. Grays and oranges. I don't think I need this mini that's with it, though, so I'm going to put the mini with this instead. These all go together really well. So, that's nice. Unfortunately, that dyer is, closing up and isn't going to be dyeing anymore. So I'm debating ordering, she's doing, a last hurrah, rainbow-y goodbye kind of sock order that looks similar to this in style. So I might buy myself that because I really like her colors and she's not going to be making any more. So maybe I should order from them again. This is a secondhand Goosey Fibers purchase. The color is Archimedes. It's sock yarn. My cousin, I made light gray socks from this dyer for her mom. And then at Thanksgiving, I was like, Tony, what color do you want? And she looked at her mom's socks and she was like, I like those. I want the light gray as well. So this is a different light gray. It has these beautiful like orange flecks in it that I just love. And I think you all know by now how I feel about Goosey Fibers. I like a good amount of stuff on this table is from Goosey Fibers. So I ordered this specifically for her because I saw that it was a light gray by a dyer that I know I like. So I snatched this one up as quickly as I could. That was a different Reddit post. The 3 sock sets, 1, 2, 3, these are all from the same person. And then all the cakes are from a different person. So this person's sock sets were incredible. I wanted so many more of them. They had some Lord of the Rings colors. And so I asked my husband to pick one for himself, and he picked this. And then I was like, do you want this other one that's called, like, Gandalf? And he was like, well, because it's called Gandalf, like, yeah. But we decided to go with his gut instinct. This is a super variegated color. It's by Barnyard Knits. It's called March. I don't know if they were doing a year. It says surprise sock set. I don't know if they did like a whole year of surprise yearly colors or not. But it is so nice. I think I'm going to make him just more stockinette socks with this. And then I can make myself something with the leftovers too. It has browns and greens. And I got some more black yarn with it, which is really useful to me. Like, I had finally run out of the 2 balls of super black fingering yarn that I was using for the last year and a half. And so it was good to kind of replenish that and get a little bit more black in my collection. So yeah, these are all my sock plans for the year. I don't think it's too bad. I did cut myself off. So far, I got my like yarn tracking spreadsheet here. Yeah, so I added 1,000 grams to my stash by buying all this leftover yarn in January, and then I cut myself off. So right now, the total number of grams that have been in my stash at some point this year is 4,225, but I have knit with 750 of them, and so I'm at a bit less than 3,500 that are like remaining in my stash. And so at the rate that I'm going, I will still run out of yarn this year. Even if I take breaks or get sick or get busy or something, I should still run out of yarn. The only thing is, like, if I make a lot of like fingering weight pattern socks or patterns that are more time consuming and use less grams, then obviously that will slow us down a little bit. But I think my plan to run out of yarn in 2025 is still on track. So me and the needles that I've been wearing on my arm for the last half an hour, we're gonna say see you later. The last thing I have to show is actually a repair fail. So this is some of the felted wool I made to fix my felted mittens that I accidentally burned. And it is just like too thick. I guess it would work okay. It looks bad, and it's just way too thick because it's like worst weight yarn that's been felted, and that made it thicker. So I'm gonna have to just redo the entire fronts of both of these mittens. So I'm gonna have to take it entirely apart so that it's like inside out. And I got this white felt to put on the fronts of it. This was just the only color available that I thought would look good when I was at Joann's. And I don't know when I'm going to do that. Probably not this winter, although it feels so warm. So please motivate me to do this sewing felted repair soon. Please tell me how good it would be and that I should just do it. But I'm going to have to probably take off this button and put it back on and take the entire thing apart inside out, and then cut out the white and sew it together, and then put the mittens back together. I'm not looking forward to it. We have quite the snow day today. We're expected to get like 6 inches. So That's nice, and I hope that you're doing well. It's been nice because it's bright though. It's like really good lighting. So yeah, I hope you're doing well, and let me know if you have any questions about anything, and I'll try and link all the dyers and patterns and such in the description, and we'll see you next time. Bye! Have you come to say hi? Do you want my coffee? Sweetie, none of this is for you. None of it's about you. Yep, that's Dad's sock. Baby. This is my cat. Her name is Rosie. Rosie, can you look at the camera? And she just does whatever she wants. Yeah, there's no food up here. Yep. Oh no. What do you think of that snow, huh?